Hey, Amy, I thought I'd take a moment to respond to your discussion board. I definitely enjoyed reading it. Your first sentence in reviewing the conflict and restoration model at first, it seems a bit daunting to someone who's not familiar with the concept. Okay, so imagine it's a worksheet and we give that to a client, like they're going to be like, I was at my parents' house over the weekend and got my mom just to look at it like, hey, tell me what you think. And of course she was like, I don't understand, what that's talking about. But then, I started talking her through, okay, like conflict comes from pain and defenses. Like this is what it looks like. And I love breaking down things and explaining it to people just one step at a time. Definitely just even with the conflict cycle and then with the interview we have to do, just those 3 sessions just, scratch the surface. The first session, I always tell people, okay, this is going to be get to know you, get to know why you're here and your history. Second, third, fourth, and on session is, okay, let's talk about, what's underneath everything, what you have, going on. So, your comment about, okay, let's keeping the model focused on manageable parts of the model. I mean, think about it. Like you could spend a session talking about pain, about grace, about kind of what you said later about, okay, it allows couples to see justice, empathy, trust, and forgiveness. You could do a session on each of those things, maybe even a few sessions on just each of those concepts, of the model. So I think I agree with you. Okay, that first view is a little bit daunting, but when you read more and when you challenge it more and you have that couple listening to each other, they're going to be able to understand the model and kind of, okay, like I know what's under this, what's the source of the conflict, like where's it coming from. And I think it's so important to teach those things, especially the 4 that you talk about: justice, empathy, trust, and forgiveness. Forgiveness for me is one of my favorite lessons to teach people about. It's very humbling to teach it too. If I had to tell you my 2 favorite quotes about forgiveness, and I've had a lot of clients, when I tell them this, they've heard it in sermons, yet I don't know if I've heard a sermon say it. I'd look forward to the day that I'm like, okay, I recognize that statement. Forgiveness is like setting a prisoner free and realizing the prisoner was you. So forgiveness is like setting a prisoner free and realizing the prisoner was you. And then resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Like they're very like direct, but they're 2 of my favorite quotes to use when we're talking about giving grace, having empathy, learning how to trust, and rebuild, learning, really what's underneath that conflict. When you think about so many emotions that people go through too, like it's, a lot of it, there's so much stuff underneath it. So I'm excited that this is the beginning, of the model, the pain and defense, and we get to learn, so much more. I really do think it's really just going to help us relate to couples and families and even individuals, as well. I do think the model will work for couples, whether they're believers or not as well. We just, like we were talking about in class the other day, like have to teach people what grace looks like. And there's the way that we approach it from, grace is what Jesus gave us. And grace is just unconditional love and forgiveness and meeting the other person where they are. So I do think we're going to be able to use this, either or kind of clients. I hope that you're having a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye.